Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols. I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today from Tyndale we have the finally updated with the sewn binding NLT Illustrated Study Bible. So let's take a look at the cover and compare a few things, and I'll show you kind of the evidence that it's sewn, and we'll do a little quick walkthrough of how this Bible works. So this is the original one, and this is a glued binding. I did do a ribbon replacement in this one because they only put one little tiny ribbon in there, and in my study Bibles I definitely prefer more ribbons. You can also see the cover design is slightly different colored. This has a little bit more of a different grain. It's more of like a matte finish, where this is like really shiny. The burgundy on this is a little less distinct. This color looks pretty much the same, that kind of British tan look. And of course the sewing is similar. When you compare the spines, that's when you can really see the difference in the colors. So that's really sharp. I love that that is embossed and kind of antiqued in there. I think that looks really, really sharp. This thing is almost 10 inches tall, almost 7 inches wide, lacking about 1/4 inch, and about 2.5 inches thick. So this is a big boy, and that's because it's got a lot of bells and whistles. This is actually an Italian text block. Remember, glued binding. This one is printed in China, so some people are going to have some frustrations with that, but it is better quality. Now let's take a look and show you the evidence that this thing is actually sewn. The evidence of thread work there. So that is an encouraging sight, especially for a Bible of this bigness and thickness and weight and heft. The gilding looks absolutely great, especially for a full color Bible. It's really hard to get the gilding to look nice on a full color Bible because, as you can see, it has a tendency to bleed through. So really good job on that. It does have a vinyl liner, so this thing should hold up pretty good, and you can see there's some tape reinforcement there. That should really hold that book block together to this cover and really avoid any problems with it falling apart. Let's hope that's the case, because this is a hefty Bible. Now, there's all sorts of features in this thing that are absolutely amazing. First thing that you need to know is the commentary here is the same commentary on the NLT Study Bible. So if you want the NLT Study Bible, but you're on the fence because you're like, well, I'd rather have the illustrations, just go ahead and get the Illustrated Study Bible, because you're going to get the exact same commentary. This is an inside column reference, which is really nice because it pulls that text well out of the gutter. Then your textual footnotes are going to be on the bottom. This is a 9-point font in a double column setup. Has really nice blue accents on the chapter numbers and the subheadings that lead into each chapter or section. On the bottom, it gives you a little bit of information about where you are. For example, on this one, it lets you know that we are in the Pentateuch. So whenever you see that highlighted, you know that's where you are in that section of the scripture that you're in. It has articles about various things, the Exodus as history, so much good information just loaded throughout this thing. And then as you turn the pages, one thing you're going to see is those full color, beautiful illustrations all over the place. Now, one thing to note is whoever did the gilding on this, they must have put it on rather thick, because I have spent gobs of time unsticking this paper, and I'm still struggling to get some of it unstuck. So that's just going to be a process. It's going to take time. It does give you the really nice book introductions with full color intros. It gives you a picture to kind of let you know kind of the theme of the book, sheep, Leviticus, kind of like God's people forming as shepherds. And then it gives you a little lead in, the setting. It gives you a basic summary. You're pretty much going to see this in any study Bible, but it just gives you a little extras to let you know, setting the book up, what you're getting into, in case you're unfamiliar with it. I really like this. The font on the commentary is definitely not the 9-point font that we see in the text. I'm going to say that's probably about a 7-point font. This paper feels a little bit thick, but not super thick. I'd probably guess it at somewhere around 30 GSM. And again, keep in mind, this one is no longer printed in Italy, it is printed in China. That is the former glued binding. This shows you like the sacrificial system of Israel and the different offerings that they make. And then when you get on into between the testaments, so as I flip through the page, I'll let you see some things like the maps there. You'll see those kind of spread out throughout. Kind of gives you a good idea of the geography and where things are going. It also gives you some larger, more full articles. Again, book introductions with full color. But what I really want you to see, another map, is when you get between the testaments. I mean, there's all sorts of information in this, and I love the full color illustrations, and these illustrations are magazine quality, just absolutely beautiful all the way throughout, just gorgeous work. This is actually my favorite Bible that Tyndale puts out. But once you get between the testaments, that is where this one is very, very nice. It gives you a Between the Testaments section where it kind of gives you the history of things that happened and what developed throughout the intertestamental period. It gives you some of the rulers and leaders that were in charge, the Maccabean revolt. And again, this issue I've been struggling with it, but you're into the New Testament. It gives you a full page spread kind of explaining the New Testament. Gives you some setting and background of the Gospels and the New Testament and the ministry of Jesus. And then it goes into the Gospels and the Acts. So really just kind of gives you an overview of what you're about to get into once you get into the New Testament. It does not have red letters, so this is a black letter text. And there's one thing I wanted to show you. There's just so much I can get in such a short period of time. But just among all the beauty in the articles that we see throughout this, early apostolic journeys, just absolutely gorgeous. So let me get to this spot because this is my favorite place in this entire Bible. The whole spread of the cross and the Passover and how it's connected in the ministry of Jesus. Once you get to the end here and you get past the book of Revelation, that's when you get into the resources in the back. You have different reference materials. You have a Hebrew and Greek word studies. There's so much in here it's impossible to show it all. You just have to see it for yourself. And then all sorts of different features in the index where it shows pictures. It's easier to find your articles by using this index, your notes index. And then ultimately it also ends with your dictionary concordance. This thing is just absolutely loaded with goodies, with maps and everything. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I am so thankful that we finally have the NLT Illustrated Study Bible with a sewn binding, and I guarantee you this is something that you're going to want in your library. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nick Worth.